Hi everybody, I'm Kimberly Turner from cookingwithkimberly.com, and today I'm going to show you how to cook rice noodle wrapped shrimp. This is what it looks like, and I'm going to show you how to make them. Ooh-wee, they look like little shrimpsicles, right? They're going to be delicious, so stay tuned. Now, these are some gorgeous shrimp. These are 1620 shrimp, and they're actually freshwater shrimp. And this is what they look like. They came with the shell on. So what I've done is I've cut down the center and I've deveined them. And then I am removing the shell just very gently all the way to just above the tail. So you want the legs off and stuff like that. So be very careful to keep the rest of that tail intact because you're going to need that. That's going to help you a lot. And then that's what you have, a beautiful shrimp like this with the tail intact, okay? So I'm going to do that with about 450 grams of shrimp, okay? That's roughly 20 of these big guys, okay? Now keep these little shells because you can put this in your freezer, and after you collect enough of your little seafood stuff, shrimp and things like that, you can go ahead and make a beautiful seafood bisque or a seafood stock, a fish stock, and that's what I save these guys for. So just go ahead and finish those shrimp off just like that. So here's our schedule now that we've prepared the shrimp. We're going to marinate these shrimp for about 10 or 15 minutes. During that time, I'm going to get my noodles cooked. I am also going to make a dipping sauce. And then these guys will be ready to wrap. All right, I have some really interesting ingredients going on here. I'm going to use about 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice on my shrimp. They've just been deveined and the skin has been taken off, so you can do whatever it is you need to do with whatever kind of seafood you're using. I'm also going to use maybe a tablespoon of fresh lime juice. Okay, so these guys are going to get tossed in that, but we're going to add a little more oomph here. Now I have some freshly ground pepper that's going in, maybe about a teaspoon. I've got some freshly ground coriander that I've done in my mortar and pestle, and I'm probably going to use about maybe a good 1/4 of a teaspoon. I have a few piri chilies that I've also used in my mortar and pestle, and that's going to give us some nice spice. So I'm probably going to use the equivalent of about 1 of the dried piris. Those are extremely hot. They're also called African bird's eye chili, and I actually have a little plant of these guys, which is pretty awesome. So beware because those are very hot. So my shrimp tonight are freshwater shrimp, so they're not very salty. Now you could use a little bit of salt here, or you can add some soy sauce. I'm going to use some soy sauce. This is a Ponzu actually sauce, and that has a sudachi citrus in it. So if you just want to use soy sauce, you can do that, but I just have kind of a kicked up soy sauce. And I'm going to use maybe a tablespoon of that. It has a gorgeous flavor. And a beautiful smell as well, very earthy. I have some fresh cilantro that I've minced up. I'm going to use a good, I don't know, 1.5 tablespoons of freshly minced cilantro. You could also use a Thai basil here if you want to. And I think that's pretty much all I'm going to put in. Oh, and a little bit of coconut water. Maybe 1/3 of a cup. Okay. Tiny bit of sriracha sauce. It just kind of rounds out the flavors. Maybe a teaspoon. Doesn't need a lot. And I'm just going to use my hands because I want to make sure everything's nice and coated and everything is well combined. You want to make sure that those shrimp are really just marinating in all these gorgeous flavors. What a smell. It smells fantastic. I can't wait to try this recipe. All right, now these guys just need to sit for about 10 or 15 minutes and you'll be ready to go. That's going to be just as good with fish, just as good with maybe scallops. It'd be fantastic with any kind of seafood or fish that you'd like to try this on. Now, if you wanted to add onion and garlic to it, a fine mince of onion or green onions even, and some garlic, please feel free to do that. Not everyone in our house enjoys onion and garlic, so I don't always cook with it. But if you want to do that, and you probably do, go ahead and add that to your marinade right now as well. Oh, what a fragrance. So that's what your marinade looks like, and I guess you'll see me in about 15 minutes. Now I'm making a beautiful dipping sauce for these guys, and you know, you could use this for any kind of awesome dipper that you need something. Tonight, these are going to be served on a stick, so these are going to be perfect. You could use this also for maybe a satay if you wanted to, even a kebab of sorts if you wanted to do that, or you know, anything that you've grilled up on sticks would be awesome. So in a small bowl that I'm actually going to serve it in, I'm going to combine everything. I have about 1/4 a quarter of a cup, maybe just a hint more of lime juice. Now, half of this is key lime juice, just because I happen to have key limes, and boy, is that going to be pretty awesome. Indeed. I have some more tang I'm going to put in here with some blood orange vinegar. Now, this is a gorgeous vinegar from Napa Valley Vinegar Company. This is their blood orange vinegar, and you can find them online at Wine Country Kitchens. Make sure you check out my review on this stuff because it's amazing. I've used it for many, many things, and it's almost gone, and I'm very sad. However, this is an awesome vinegar. You can see it's cloudy, and the reason it's cloudy is because it actually has blood orange puree in it. It's a nice sweet vinegar. It's not all that tart. It has beautiful flavor, and it's combined with a wine vinegar. Now, this Wine Country Kitchens does a beautiful job at all these beautiful condiments that you would just die for. They're to die for when you look at them on their website. Make sure you pick up a couple. They have a whole line of these gorgeous fruit vinegars that are super versatile and just so delicious. You could use them just about in anything. Baking and smoothies and cocktails and all kinds of things. So today I'm going to use this in my dipping sauce. I'm going to use at least a teaspoon of it, maybe 2 teaspoons of it. It's going to give a nice flavor. Oh, beautiful. I'm going to sweeten this up with just a hint. I have a teaspoon of powdered sugar here. The reason I'm using powdered sugar is because it will dissolve easily in here. That play off of a sweet and a sour and a salty is very Thai inspired, I would say. Very Asian indeed. And it's going to be gorgeous with what we're cooking tonight. You kind of have that sweet and sour thing going on. Now, I have about 1.5 teaspoons of fish sauce. If you don't have fish sauce, you can always just use soy instead. I'm going to add another teaspoon of that. That's going to give us some nice saltiness, just like the fish sauce will. And it also will, the fish sauce will also give you a nice savoriness too. I have maybe 1/4 teaspoon of freshly ground coriander seeds, okay? I also have some freshly minced coriander or cilantro that's going to go in here. Again, if you like onion and garlic, please feel free to add it. Not everyone enjoys that in our household, so I don't cook with it all the time. But I will add some cilantro because it gives some nice color and some nice flavor, and everyone's happy with it. Now I have some freshly ground pepper. Always has better flavor that way. I'm using maybe 1/4 teaspoon, however you like. It's really up to your taste. We like things very spicy, so I use quite a bit of pepper. I also have 1 piri chili that I've ground up with my mortar and pestle. They are extremely hot. They're used in all kinds of cuisines, a lot of Asian cuisines, and these are also called African bird's eye peppers. They are so spicy, so be very, very careful. So only 1 going in there, and I'm just going to stir that around, okay? You just want things to combine, and I'm going to let this sit for a good, I don't know, 20 minutes before we eat. That's going to really help dissolve the sugar in there. It's also going to just allow all these flavors to marry. Okay, we're going to do a really quick taste test to make sure that everything is salty and sweet and tangy enough for us. That's good. Very, very spicy. It's tangy, it's spicy, it just needs to be a little bit more sweet. I'm going to add another teaspoon of sugar, and so you just have to taste test on the day of, because you never know exactly what all of your ingredients are going to combine to be like, okay? So combine that up, stir that through, and that should be right on point. Another quick taste test. Oh, and I think we're there. What a delicious flavor. It's everything you want it to be. Salty, spicy, sweet, absolutely fantastic. Those African bird's eye chilies are so spicy, but it's going, it's not going to be too much because we're just dipping pasta that's deep fried, surrounding a shrimp. So it's going to have a lot to kind of flavor, and that's really all you'll need is about, this is probably just over a cup's worth. Using powdered sugar will help you dissolve things much quicker than using a bigger granulated sugar. Okay, so our shrimp are marinating there at the very end. I'm just going to toss them one more time and make sure everything's coated. Our dipping sauce is ready. And I'm going to take these guys out of the marinade in a second, but let's get these noodles going. So these are rice noodles. They're very, very thin, like angel hair, vermicelli. I have some boiling water prepared in my kettle, and I'm just going to pour them on top of my noodles. So I'll show you that in a sec. So let me just cut this bag open and get a good chunk of these out. They come sometimes in little nest shapes, but this one is a little bit longer, and it's already kind of the shape that I'm going to need it to wrap. So I'm going to very gently pull these guys out because we want to keep them as long as possible and as together as possible. That's important for aesthetics. Okay, so I'm going to just weasel these guys out in a whole big chunk. I'm going to use probably 2/3 of a package. So they come out like this. I'm going to show you how thin these guys are, okay? So that's what these guys look like, okay? They're very, very thin, and they're going to be beautiful and easy to wrap our shrimp in. So what I'm going to do is, just like you would say, those big biscuit shredded wheats, you're just going to pour the hot liquid on top and let these cook. This has been boiled and made into noodles, and it's only going to take a couple of minutes, like maybe 3 or 4, to have these guys ready and prepared. So let's go ahead and pour that water on top, boiling water, and let them just sit in it for a little bit here. All right, you want them to be submerged, okay? So let's get started with our skewering of our shrimp, okay? We got to get that done first. So I've got some bamboo skewers here. I'm going to use the long ones, all the way long. And I'm going to put 1 shrimp on each because it's going to be much easier to deep fry them, just like that, okay? So I have a baking sheet prepared with a silicone mat just to keep things from being really messy. And I'm going to show you how to get these guys done. So I'm going to remove it from the marinade, and I'm going to take the pointy end of the skewer, and I'm going to push it between and underneath that tail. So I want it right through that shell, and then you're just going to kind of weave it back and forth all the way to the top, but you want it to stay on these skewers. So just go ahead and weave that on there so they stay. And that's pretty much what you're looking at, okay? Beautiful. The shrimp won't take long at all in this hot, hot oil. And the rice noodles, all they need to do is just get nice and golden brown. So this, all in all, you're nearly done at this point, okay? You can see if you've allowed this marinade to work on your shrimp for at least 15-20 minutes, you'll see that it has started to try and cook it with that citrus, okay? Gorgeous. Give yourself some space at the end as well so that you can really do a good wrapping job with the pasta, with the noodles. Now you could always use smaller skewers, but this is for a birthday and I think it's going to be just a lot of fun. And why not? Let's just splurge. What a cool birthday recipe too. By the time you're done skewering these, your noodles should be ready. And I'm going to take them out of that hot water and just let them sit on another baking sheet for a couple of minutes to a little bit dry out so that they can stick to each other and hold onto each other, because you need to kind of wrap these guys and allow those noodles to stick onto each other like that so that it keeps it encased. So I'm just going to use another silicone mat. That just keeps things nice and clean. I believe that our rice noodles are done. They are. And I'm going to try and take these guys out of here so that the strands are all still long. I don't want a big mess. I want them all to try and stay as long and together as possible. So go ahead and just remove them. Beautiful. They smell good too. So try and grab them from one end. There we go. That worked out beautifully. And I'm just going to let them kind of drain and dry slightly for a few minutes here to make my life a little bit easier. And it won't be so hot to handle. Okay. Dump that water. And there you go. Rice noodles are so fast if you're using the really thin ones. You could use any kind of noodles for this, whatever kind of pasta you like. You could even use egg noodles. So I'm just going to finish these shrimp up. You'll see me in a couple minutes. So since these guys have been sitting in this beautiful marinade for the last 15 or 20 minutes, you're going to see that the citrus has started to kind of cook it in a way with the citrus. That is a way to cook them, in fact. You can see that the flesh is starting to turn pink just like it would if you cooked it in heat. And they're going to be beautiful. I've just skewered them. And look, you can see that the beautiful cilantro is on there, all those gorgeous spices. It's Smells amazing. And that was an easy marinade. Now, by using that tail to help you secure the shrimp, it really is going to keep things where they need to be. Sometimes when you do shrimps on kebabs, they tend to move around a lot, but that tail really tends to anchor it on the bamboo skewer. So it's a really handy trick to try and use, okay? These look like gorgeous shrimp pops, like little lollipops of shrimp. That just sounds amazing. They're going to be so beautiful. They look beautiful just like this. In fact, you could just grill them straight on the grill just like this right out of the marinade. It would be awesome. But this, we're going to take it up to a whole nother aesthetically beautiful level with this rice noodles all wrapped around. It's almost like it's the same thing as what you would do if you wanted to make a bird's nest, they call them. You could make a bowl out of the noodles, form them into a bowl. You could either bake them in the oven to help them form that way, or you could go ahead and deep fry them too. But they're beautiful, and you could do it either way. It would be equally as amazing and beautiful. All these flavors, they smell so delicious. It's going to be spicy, it's going to be tangy, it's going to be a little bit sweet. It's going to be, that shrimp meat tends to be sweet. That's why I say that. It's going to be awesome. Gorgeous flavors. Okay, I've got all my shrimpsicles ready. Here they are. They look absolutely gorgeous, if you can see that. Oh, what beautiful pieces of work. Look at that. So now our noodles are cooked. They are cooled down some. They have dried off a little bit so they can stick together. You want to have long strands that you're going to try and wrap around your shrimp, okay? So let's get these started. I want to have them all prepared before I start trying to deep fry them. What we're gonna do is I'm just gonna grab a couple strands as long as I can. I want to try and like line them up. Be very gentle. These are nice and long, which is awesome. So just grab yourself a nice long strand worth. You're gonna start on one end, so I'm gonna start maybe around by the tail, and I'm just gonna start winding these guys around the shrimp. I wanna cover the whole entire thing from top to bottom. And if you need more noodles, just go ahead and grab them. But just try to be gentle, take your time. This is a food of love thing. Look at these long noodles. That's exactly what you're looking for, okay? Probably need half of that to finish this off. You can do this as messy or as neatly as you like. It really doesn't matter. It's all going to be beautiful, and it's all going to be very tasty. And wrap that all the way to the end. Try and get all the loose ends wrapped in as best you can. There you go. That's a shrimp with fringes. Gorgeous. And another one. So just grab your noodles in a long strip as best you can. I like to start near the tails and just start winding the noodles on there. You just want to cover it all up. Again, these guys are cooked. It's not going to take a long time in that deep fryer. These are going to crisp up nicely, be all golden, and by that time the shrimp will be done because they won't take long either. So just go ahead and break those off wherever you have to. They look awesome. Okay? So rinse and repeat. You don't need to watch me do them all. So let me show you even closer. That's what these guys look like. They look beautiful, right? They already look cool just like that. All right? Pretty exciting. It's almost like trying to wrap them with cobwebs. This would be fun for the kids as well. And this would be a lovely Mother's Day recipe or even Valentine's Day recipe. It's a labor of love for sure. It's so beautiful. Look at that. Like a little shrimp mummy. So the key is to try and find the long strands, line them up, and then start from one end and just start wrapping that. Wrap the end in, and then just continue. And that's it. I'm actually going to use these rest of my noodles as a bed for my serving platter as well. So I do have some left. And you could always use that sauce that you made, pour that on them if people want to actually start eating those as well. So there you go. Now, these guys are ready for frying, and I have the oil nice and hot and ready, and here they all are. Don't they look absolutely fantastic? boy. All right, I'm gonna quickly season these noodles for underneath that can be served alongside as well. So you kind of get noodles two ways. And I'm going to put some fresh cilantro in there that I've minced up, about a tablespoon or two. Trying to keep with about the same flavors. And I'm just doing this really, really quickly. A splash of lime juice, a little bit of peanut oil, just a tiny bit. I'm going to put a drop, 2, maybe 3 of sesame oil, and that's it. That's a real carrier of flavor, and that's all you need. I'm gonna splash it with a little bit of soy and just a little bit of sriracha, maybe a half a teaspoon. And I'm just gonna toss these noodles up. Make sure they get coated evenly so you don't just get a whole bunch of flavor in one spot. If you wanted to add green onions to this or any of the other things we added to them, you could even add some bean sprouts to this. That would be really great too. All right, set this to the side, and our pot is hot with oil, and we're ready to start frying. Okay, get a baking sheet lined with some clean dry paper towels so that you can drain these shrimp on there after they come out of the oil. You don't want all kinds of extra oil. So we're ready here. I'm gonna put these guys in, and actually my bamboo skewers are so long that I can just hold my shrimp in there. This is only gonna take a minute, maybe 2, and that's it. You just need the noodles on the outside to get a golden color. You don't want them to be completely hard, crispy, burning. You want them to be golden and crisp. The shrimp will not take long. In fact, the residual heat from it will probably cook the shrimp all by itself. So it won't take long. Just get those noodles looking good. Okay? So let's test our water first. Splash a drop of liquid in there, and if it sizzles, step away from it. If it sizzles, you're ready to go. So on my stove top, I have a wok with a couple of inches of oil in it. I don't want to put it in a deep pot to deep fry because these guys could just unravel at will. It's kind of tumultuous in there, and these aren't secured. They're just held there. So in a wok, you can put them so that they can touch the bottom, and it will hold those noodles on a lot better. So my oil is nice and hot, and I'm just going to gently place one of them in here to fry. You're probably going to have to flip it over to finish the other side. So be quick about things. So I can just put them in like that and allow the bamboo skewer to sit on the side. So I'm only going to do a couple at a time. And make sure you have your paper-lined baking sheet ready to go. All right, I put them directly under the broiler. The broiler does a beautiful job at drying out those noodles and then browning them up. Look at these babies. They are absolutely glorious. Look at that. I love how the little tails get a little bit charred. I love that. It's almost reminiscent of doing them on the grill. Now I'm just serving them on some cedar planks today, and I've got those extra noodles that we had that I doctored up a little bit, and I'm serving with some lime. So it's really a really awesome and interesting looking plate that you're going to get, and I think anyone would be happy to receive something as beautiful as this. All right, let's try it. Actually, I'm going to deliver these first so they don't get cold, and then I'm going to show you. Don't forget we have that beautiful sauce too. Yeah. Now, don't these look gorgeous? I can't wait to try these myself. Everyone is chowing down right now, and I'm ready. Serve that with some wedges of lime and a little extra cilantro if you want, and don't forget about your dipping sauce. Really tasty stuff. All right, so those went into the oven on a high broil for about 5 minutes aside, okay, on the high broil. And that did a beautiful job at crisping up those noodles as well as browning it up for me. If you have to let it go a little bit longer, just keep your eye on it. Keep the oven door ajar so that you can see in there and you don't want anything to burn, right? So let's dip it in our sauce, which is really, really hot and spicy and all kind of exciting. Oh, that's good. Really good. Put some lime. There is so much going on here. Wow. You can taste every single step that we made today, from the marinade all the way through. Every ingredient you can taste. Beautiful. This blood orange really shines through. That vinegar is exceptionally good. The ponzu, you can taste that soy sauce with the sudachi citrus in it. You can taste the cilantro and the hot piri with the dipping sauce, as well as the marinade. Mmm. The noodles are crispy and crunchy on the outside. Mmm. I love that little bit of char, but they're still sort of soft on the inside. So you're getting a gorgeous texture between that crunchy and the soft, and then you get that awesome shrimp in the middle. Sweet, salty, so good. Complete umami experience. Let's try these noodles. So now you have the noodles two ways. So you get those crispy, crunchy noodles, and then you get these guys nice and cold and doctored up. Mmm. Mmm. What a fun birthday meal. This would be a great anniversary meal. Mmm. Mmm. This sort of style, this would be beautiful as appetizers, little hors d'oeuvres at New Year's party, or maybe even at Chinese New Year. You know, you could do an Asian style, like just like this. Sky's the limit. This is beautiful. It would be also just a really fancy Friday night dinner. You know, it's a heck of a lot of fun. I mean, who wouldn't want a shrimp on a stick like that? That's awesome. Well, this is an absolute showstopper. What an absolutely beautiful, beautiful dish. I mean, not just does it look beautiful, but it tastes awesome. And that's how you do it. That's how you make rice noodle wrapped shrimp. You could deep fry these if you wanted to in a shallow pan, or you can bake them just like I did. They're fantastic this way. All right, so I hope that you try out this recipe. You're gonna absolutely adore it, and please try this awesome sauce. This is a beautiful blood orange and Ponzu soy dipping sauce. It went beautifully, perfectly well with this dish. You're gonna love this whole concept. All right, I hope you try it. Make sure you check out winecountrykitchens.com for this amazing vinegar, and you're gonna love all the other ones as well. You could have interchanged a couple of them here and done really well, especially their sweet mango flavor would have been nice in this dipping sauce. Beautiful. All right, that's it. Follow me on Twitter at Cooking with Kim E with a capital E. Like the fan page at facebook.com/cookingwithkimberly. My shows are on ifood.tv/cookingwithkimberly, youtube.com/cookingwithkimberly. You can find my channel on Roku, Cooking with Kimberly, and I'm also syndicated on Apple TV. Come to my website at cookingwithkimberly.com and subscribe. Interact with us and let us know what's going down in your culinary world, all right? Be a champion in your kitchen and eat deliciously. Bye.